Had a little user error there. I was trying to get my Grey Cat buggy into the back of my Avenger, and that didn't work. So that was long press. Dang it, that was failure. Alright, step one. We want to get Star Citizen playing nice with the Steam overlay. Some people will say, just add the launcher, everything's fine, it works. I have tested that. It's kind of right. If you add the launcher, it'll work. A couple of major problems, though, that you might not notice. If you try to use on-screen keyboard, it will double all the inputs, so you basically can't use chat at all, can't use a keyboard. And also, if you enter into the Steam overlay, like to configure your Steam controls, the overlay gets hung up. It doesn't know which window to focus on. So, for Steam controller users, do not add the launcher. We need to do something else because we want to use touch menus and the on-screen keyboard. So run the game from the launcher. While the game is still running, go to where you have it installed. Default will be program file, Robert Space Industries, Star Citizen, live folder. We need this login data JSON file. Copy that. Paste it to your desktop. Okay? I'm going to put this down here just to show you. So that's all we need to do for now. Quit the game. Are you sure? Yes. Now, see what happened? It just cannibalized that login data JSON file. It's because it's always like checking from the launcher. But we need to bypass the launcher. That's why we have to do this. So close the launcher. We don't need that anymore. Grab your login data JSON file, dump it right back where you copied it from. And then just bear in mind, you might need to do, you will need to do this process from time to time. If you're trying to launch the game from Steam and you get an error, go back through the launcher, repopulate this login data JSON file just to keep it up to date. Now we want to add the game into Steam. Go to Games, add a non-Steam game to my library, browse. Go right back to that same live folder. Go in there, go to bin64, Star Citizen EXE. So it's in live bin64 EXE. And that's it. Add that, then you'll be able to run the game from Steam. So one extra thing to verify, go to Steam settings in game. Make sure you have this checkbox selected. Use the big picture overlay when using Steam Input Enabled Controller from the desktop. And that is it. Well, that's it for that. So now we have Star Citizen added into Steam. It's playing nice with the overlay, but we still need to use my controls. So we go to the Nexus page. All the instructions will be listed on this Nexus page. I'll make sure it's all updated with the newest information. You can alternatively get it from Dropbox. There is a link to that, just because I've heard people complain about Nexus. Like, I guess you have to have an account to download files, or you have to be logged in now, or some change, like whatever. Don't worry about it. Mainly, I just put it up on Nexus because it's easy to document everything. So, all right, we got the file. Extract. Instructions. This live folder, that's the meat. That's what you need. There's also, for reference, this is going to tell you every single binding. There's also one showing you the touch menus, every binding on those touch menus. Just trying to, provide some documentation to make it a little bit easier. And really, this was also just making it easier. I gave the hierarchy of the file. But you can just copy this XML if you want. It goes into mappings. Otherwise, you can just copy the live folder. Go back to where you have Star Citizen installed. Paste. Actually, let me verify. Yeah, let's delete that. Okay, so there's nothing in mappings right now. Go back to Star Citizen, live. I'm going to paste live into live. Let's click into user. controls, mappings, boom, there she is. And now we are prepared to dive into the game. We have Steam overlay functionality. We have imported my control preset. We are still not there. I know it's a little bit of a hassle. We just got to go through a couple more things. So, all right, first let's grab my profile. Go to X to browse configs. Go to this little community tab. Boom. Right there. Yeah, I voted my own. That's how I roll. So Star Citizen 3.8 Hybrid Deluxe. Click A to import. Click X to apply. If you don't want to grab it from the community profile, there's also links to it in the description, like the Nexus page. Got my profile. I can test it by holding right bumper and I see my touch menu. I tap up for jump. Wait, what the hell? Whoa, what's going on? The issue is that the game, it's still reading the default game mappings. So what we need to do, go to options, key bindings, advanced control customization, control profile. This should now be in the list because that was the imported XML file that we added. Click on that. Click on the gamepad only. We are only replacing gamepad files or gamepad mappings. Load. So now I tap up, I jump, I tap down, I crouch. That's what we want. So now it's going to be working and we're ready to finally play the freaking game. So all right, get up out of bed. Either push up or seat, which would be a double press of B. That just kind of depends on where you spawned in. To interact, going to double tap the right pad or click and hold. So just a single click will be the default action. So again, for interact, that is a double tap on the right pad, holds it in. It holds it in as long as you're touching the pad. Or a click and hold will also hold it in. A fast click of the right bumper will be your focus. While you're on interact, that's with a double tap or the hold. So alright, let's go to an elevator. Forward on the left pad is your movement. Movement also has an outer edge for sprint. So all the way forward is sprint. Let's go to the lobby. But yeah, instead of just standing around talking about all the inputs, I figured what the hell, I'll just play it and kind of go over things while I'm playing it, which also will let me be even extra rambly. Yep, good old Star Citizen. Where am I going? Well, kind of dark here, so for flashlight, I would hold right bumper to pull up my menu here. Down is light. Also though, while you're holding in this right bumper, down on left stick will also be light. Outer edge on the right pad is a tap to jump, tap down to crouch, hold down, go to prone. Rolls are on the outer edge, left and right. You could also click if you want. And that is actually a change from the previous version. I had a full analog stick on that right pad, but it just wasn't feeling responsive enough. So I actually ditched that, which we will get into when we get into a ship, because that's where it's going to be the most noticeable. Just under the hood stuff, though, it should behave much more reliably now. Let's, gonna spawn my ship in. Pad 3. Okay, let's go to pad 3. Right grip will focus. We'll cycle the camera modes. First person, third person. Outer. Hold it is free look. And let go, it'll recenter. There's a nice little free look run. This is, I think I'm outside of Hurston. So, alright, we want to start the ship up. Hold right bumper. It's going to be this middle click. Flight ready.
Aegis combat assist activated.
We want to take off. It's just going to tap this outer edge, and that's my strafe up. Tap down is strafe down. Single press of B is raised landing gear. But okay, here is one of the main changes from my previous profile. So left stick in ships is now a smooth roll. Then tap to the right is your strafe. So the outer edges on the right pad are all strafing things. And I feel like some people aren't going to like that change, and that's totally, it's a personal thing. I found I want to use smooth roll way more than I need a smooth strafe. And it feels much more consistent on the left stick to me. And actually, in a previous version, they had it like that. But if for some reason you absolutely hate that and you want to switch it back, it's pretty simple. You know, just show you kind of behind the under the hood type stuff. Go to select gamepad over here. Let's get rid of that. Select gamepad. Go down to flight movement. Just delete that. Delete that, switch it back to right stick for roll. And delete that and switch it back to left stick for strafe. And that's really all you have to do if you don't like that change. But to me, I feel like I have much more control. So, alright. A change to this one is all the way forward is your sprint or afterburner, but I also put that on left grip hold. And that's just to make like racing or fast maneuvering easier. That used to be a hold decouple, which I really never used. Decouple is still on the left grip to toggle. And you can see on my HUD the little broken chain. So I'm now decoupled. So I'm now just like free floating. Left grip, put coupled mode back on. Your pretty basic triggers for your fire. Now if you want to change your throttle limit, or your that's the Excel, I think? I can't remember what it's called. Hold in left pad. It's kind of like your flight adjustments. You can raise it up, raise it down. And then, yeah. Hold the right pad for the other side. I can just never remember what they're actually called. This is like your thruster. This is your thruster power. And the left side is your acceleration range. Like this, if you're getting a little frustrated that you keep moving when you don't want to, that's also a hold, this left click. X That locks in. The mouse is now locked into this bounding box. That can be really useful for landing and like for mining mode. Or for, you know, when you're in like third person like this, you just want to move around, because now I don't have to worry about the camera going all crazy. So yeah, and that's hold in left click. Now it's back. But really, like, for all that kind of stuff too, I would recommend going through here. I try to label everything and make it as straightforward as I can. Like this was, holding this in was the flight adjust, and then this is showing you the bold things are what's being changed. Like in that flight adjust, we have A will be open all the windows. X is that mouse mode. B is emergency exit, which doesn't seem like it really does anything yet, but I wanted to have it in there. Y is lock the doors, which can be useful. Another little change from previous versions is left is Moby, which has always been that. A long press left is star map. And then right is your contacts. That's a change, just to make it easier for like requesting landing or takeoff. And then a long press on the left stick will be inventory, but something just to be aware of when you're in your ship, that will be engine, because it's I. So if I hold it...
Engines offline. Engines online. Engines offline. Engines online.
Yeah, it's gonna fuss with your engines. X brings up the quantum drive. Where do we got? Let's go to Stanhope. Hold X to quantum travel.
Initiated.
Instead of a hold, just a regular press on up or middle of the left pad toggles cruise control. If you wanted to take some fancy screenshots, select will toggle advanced camera options that modifies the left pad. Say you like this particular view, click and hold. So then I reset. Click on view 1, goes back there. You want to click close up here or B to get rid of that. But yeah, that gives you all your advanced camera stuff.
Proximity alert. Head.
Tap up on the right pad to strafe up some. B to lower my landing gear.
Landing gear deployed.
I can't remember if I have to request landing permission, so here I'm going to go to the right on the left stick, go to contacts. Yeah. Yeah, screw it. I don't want to land there anyways. I want to... Yeah, I want to get a vehicle.
Proximity alert. Deck. Proximity alert. Head. Landing complete.
So, alright, we've landed. Right bumper again. Let's just go a long press in the middle.
Weapon systems offline.
Double press B. That's my seat. Alright, so for ground vehicles, I'm gonna hop in here. For this, I need to hold right bumper. I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna click on ground vehicles. Click it a single time to load it, 2 times to unload it. So I click it, tells me ground bleh. And now the triggers give me full analog throttle and full analog steering.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Am I gonna be able to make it in there? So like I was saying, you can double press to unload that, but the easiest thing to do is just get out of your seat. Well, anyways, had a little user error there. I was trying to get my Grey Cat buggy into the back of my Avenger, and that didn't work. So click on emotes. What do we want? So that was long press. Dang it, that was failure. But yeah, that gives me an opportunity to do something else. We wanted it to be good job, but it wasn't. So yeah, this is all like regular press and then long press. So disagree. Nope. Then long press would be the failure. But that's a movement from the previous version too. That used to be on left stick. It's now integrated into the radial menu up here. Click on emotes, and then it changes. Just let go of right bumper, and then you're back to your inventory. But as long as you're in here holding right bumper, it's gonna keep these all up here.
Hey, how's it going?
So alright, when I reset the view, I right grip, and then right pad click, and then let go. So let's just get out of this Armistice zone so I can show you some other things. Can we land up here?
Proximity alert. Head. Proximity alert. Deck. Proximity alert port. Landing complete. Weapon systems offline.
Actually, but just before I get moving on to other things, I wouldn't have been able to show you anyways, but in the ground vehicles, full trigger will be boost. Full left trigger is handbrake, which is also on the left grip. And then if it's a vehicle that has weapons, right pad is a mode shift click, up is your first. Up would be left mouse, down would be right mouse. So you have all that in there. A would be horn, but I don't have a vehicle that has that yet, but it was in the key binding, so I put it there. So, alright, on foot stuff that's been slightly changed. Y is cycle weapons. And that's the reason. So it now cycles, so it will get to your fists. And that's one I can't guarantee how well that's going to work, because in previous patches that did not work. That is an actual binding for next weapon. It seems to be working in 3.8 right now, so I always prefer to have that instead of having to cycle through different numbers. But if you need those numbers, they are also up here. You can click, hold for a long press, click, long for secondary, which I don't have anything. But then here would be where those edge taps come in. that gives you the roll. So that is something too. It's the roll is on the left stick only in flight. When you're in EVA or FPS, it's gonna be these edge taps. I don't think this gun... Yeah, okay. Weapon mods are on a left full pull. Left trigger full pull, and then left stick, left to right. Left is the underbarrel attachment. Right would be fire mode, which I just don't have a gun that can cycle through fire modes. But that is actually also just to be aware. V is change fire mode, which is also on decouple, so it's not very intuitive to use left grip for fire mode, but it is there if you want to, instead of going through the full pull left trigger. But what I wanted to just mention briefly also was here. So both triggers, let's get this back up. Pull up my fists. Both triggers is a block. Now right there you can see I'm pushing left trigger. I'm pushing right trigger and it's a left punch. Left trigger and it's a right punch. They're backwards. And you hold it for the heavy. Double tap on the directions is a dash dodge. Yeah, just it is a dodge. But on those punches, this isn't something that I save to my profile because, as I mentioned before, the whole push on mine is to keep everything just gamepad, so I'm not messing with any of the default controls. But in here, so button 1 is left mouse, which I have on the right trigger. So button 1 there. It's something that it seems like it's not sticking all the time. I have to go in there and change it again. Because you could see in here, I had the bindings changed, but it just wasn't registering, which is weird. So anyways, I'm going to chalk that up to just kind of like goofy, typical Star Citizen buggy stuff. This is a brand new feature. Hey, speaking of brand new, we got a dust storm rolling through. But yeah, if the triggers are bugging you though, you can change those bindings. Just as a general thing, long press on X is holster. One thing that I changed though was to right bumper hold, and then up to inspect items. Long press on up will be drop, but I don't want to mess with that while I'm holding a gun. I do not want to drop my gun. Then you could just move to, you know, put it down, or you know, right bumper up, inspect, up to put it back down. And then just be aware that a long press will drop it. I better get the hell out of here before my ship blows over. Oh, my ship's gonna blow away. Jeez.
Aegis combat assist activated. Systems green.
Let's put that back up there.
Launch complete.
Let's get out of this storm. B to raise up the landing gear.
Landing gear retracted.
Okay, the only other thing I would maybe want to go over would be combat. Let's see what we have here. Collect a bounty on Damien Gant. Alright, let's try that. But doing a bounty will get us into the combat with, like, targeting. That's kind of what I wanted to get into. A is always target the nearest. So if we go in here, into the A button, you can see is left alt 1, which is the nearest target. Long press is holding your targeting action layer. Double press is going to cycle the hostiles. So I have found usually just pushing A and double pressing A is enough for me, but if you need more, hold in A, and then you have all of this. This is a new binding, remove target. Yeah, everything should be in here. So A is the nearest, and right bumper, regular press, will target whatever's your reticle is on. And actually, just on that, there is a modification. So a normal press is going to be the reticle focus, but if you are in flight adjustment, it changes to a target focus. And also, if you are in the targeting, it changes to a target focus, which will kind of like track the target. So my left stick would be entering into scan mode. Alright, Damien Gant, we got him. A to target. Slow down a little bit. Y, missile lock.
Missile lock.
Let's lock again.
Missile lock. Head shield under fire.
Double press X to change my reticle mode.
Shields recharging.
Alright, I need to
Shields up.
stop talking. Alright. Well, like, I killed him. Yeah, I was a little, sweating it there for a second because I wasn't paying attention. But what I was going to show was that, I bound in a separate missile lock and missile fire, which just makes it easier to lock multiple missiles. Just push Y to lock missiles. Yeah, that's the Y button, which is missile lock, and then long press is middle mouse, which was the usual fire missile. Oh, actually, no, that does not cover it. I did forget one little thing. And it's actually a change from my previous profile. Let's just hope nobody blows me up while I try to show this. The old multi-tool. You hold in left click. Right trigger raises the mining power. Left trigger lowers it. That's a change from before. Before I had it all on just like a range of one trigger. It just didn't feel good. So I switched that back. And that was it. That was just the last thing I wanted to show. So okay, yeah, that's gonna do it. So we covered how to get the game running with Steam Overlay, how to get my controller bindings in the game, how to get the profile off of Steam, and, you know, showed it in use, going over some stuff. But there's clearly a lot to it that I'm not covering, which is why, you know, all that documentation's there, so have at it, enjoy, and I will see you in the verse. That's not my usual... What do I usually say? And that's all I got. Alright, I'll see you around. Yeah, that's I'll see you around. It's like my tagline. Why I started sounding like the old Around the Verse show. And we'll see you around the verse.
Proximity alert. Hit.
Whoa! And now I'm just totally rambling. Oh, that looks cool. The lighting effects. Everything's so freaking pretty in this game. Alright, that's all I got. I will see you around the verse.